Welcome, everybody. Community development meeting and going to roll call, except I'm just gonna have us introduce ourselves. I'm Matt Powers. I'm considered the chair here, although Dan is doing a lot of the spearheading on this stuff. Thank you, Dan. And
I'm Dan DeBerry, member of the committee. Molly.
I'm Molly Reedy, I'm a community member.
I'm Andrea Hardison, I'm a committee member.
Clint Shan, manager, town manager.
Mitch Stone, assistant town manager.
is there anybody online that would like to say anything? No. Alright, do I have a bullet point? Of the discussion on the bridge, so let's start.
So the bridge.
Yeah.
So we have an outreach from
Yeah.
Eric Silver and others about the like making lemonade out of lemons, you know, and the bridge with the construction that's underway on the Silk Bridge here on Main Street on Route 2. People have noticed it's actually pretty delightful that cars are slowing down, and how it slowed cars down, and then it has the those orange barrels have been up, so it just creates another barrier between the sidewalk and the travelers, so it just kind of naturally, those two things congest or slow people down. And we know we've got so Eric reached out into a couple of the community listservs asking about, you know, are there ways to come out of this project with, I guess what we call traffic calming. And I know that we have two, you know, there are several things around the bridge that were noted in our survey. We did an Orono stop survey where we asked about 70 people responding with ideas about where we could invest some dollars in infrastructure that could slow people down, help with traffic calming, pedestrians, bikers safer. And there were several elements around both sides of the bridge in terms of opportunities that people identified. So I would caution, I don't want to negotiate against ourselves right out of the gate, but I don't think there's anything planned for traffic calming as part of the DOT's current project on the bridge. And I'll just say that. But we do have, there are two things underway in Orono in terms of traffic calming on Route 2. We have one is a $3.2 million. Okay.
So they didn't know, they were looking that way.
Yeah, so thank you. Thanks, Amanda.
They didn't know where to go.
Yeah, very much.
Are they here for the?
Yeah,
Wait just a second.
coming in for the festival stuff, so, I mean,
Never mind,
yeah,
go ahead.
run it. So we've got, just wanted to talk with the alert staff that we had this request and kind of get an update on we have the 3.2 million, and I know that's an ongoing thing. We haven't really identified precisely where or how we're gonna, inject that into the community in terms of infrastructure. And I know that the longer term Route 2 project is longer term and we're still multiple years away from that.
Yep.
So how do we respond to, what can we say back to people in terms of, plus we have, so I think there are three bites to the apple. There's one, we can go back to the council and say the Orono stop survey identified. I think that's on us to identify some opportunities within that survey. So, and we could fund that just like we did with Westwood, the Westwood light, we put, the heroes that we are, right, council, it was Matt's idea, but so he get, but we all voted for it, we put the Westwood light in, the blinky lights.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and the,
We did the traffic calming on Forest Avenue, and that originated from neighbors, which is awesome.
Yes,
So people
yes.
came forward and did a survey, and that one of the bottom of Forest Ave is, we almost get off the ground on my bike. At 25 miles an hour.
yeah.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Dan DeMeritt.
Maybe the next one.
Hey, man, nice to meet you. Well, come and join us, we're talking about the traffic first, we're gonna talk about the Orono Festival.
So the bridge update, I mean, in a nutshell, but start from the real current and work kind of where we're heading forward.
Yeah.
It's under maintenance, it's gonna get done roughly August 1st is the timeline, going very well. I'm still waiting on the announcement today to whether it'll be open officially for the weekend, because they gotta make sure the membrane goes down right, and if it does, then the paving company is not gonna have rain and they can pave it. If they can't pave it, we can't go across one lane all weekend, so.
Yeah.
That's what we're waiting on, but with that, we've had a few meetings, few conversations, there was some feedback that, and we got some signs up, I believe they were placed. To make sure people walk bikes across the bridge during construction, because it's causing some congestion and some issues with pedestrians. So as we move forward, there is a congressionally directed spending project with the Maine Department of Transportation to fix route to work on pedestrian issues from the bridge to the Kelly Road. That's it. No, what you have to do, where you have to do you have to do the whole thing, do you do a part of it? So we've been pushing hard, and MDOT and the town, I think if you go back a year, had been under the assumption that the Route 2 project was gonna move quicker, that this could be a consolidated kind of effort, and have been found out absolutely not consolidatable. And
Not
so
consolidate, that's.
they cannot
Yeah.
consolidate them into one project.
Yeah.
So the town came back, and so they were kind of holding on doing that one as we went through the other route too, and we said, well, since the timeline is now greater than 3 years for a project on Route 2, if maybe longer and phased, we just are waiting, we'll know more in maybe 6 months, maybe. So then let's move to 3 million. And so the only conversations we've had is we have ideas of what should be coming forward. And we could have an input session on things that people suggest, once we know the project's up and running, ready to go. We were told June. I found out in May that they thought they know by the end of June. Found out last week it's going to be well into July before there'll be any type of even initial discussion that it's gonna get going. And when they do, they'll contact the town, so I think we could do something low-key absent that as we wait. General ideas is that we're hopefuls. Maintenance on that bridge can do no work but maintain what's there.
Right.
Period. You know, if you wanted to add.
Right.
Anything, it would be a flat out no, because that's not maintenance, all of a sudden that's capital infrastructure, so as we're working through with it. Because we'd asked for many, we said this is a great opportunity, can we merge it, can we spend some of that money? So what we're kind of hearing is that if we want to spend some of that money, it's not determined yet. But they think that it might be something we could do at the point of spending the 3 million. But we're gonna wait till July, start having some conversations and get them done, so. Bigger things have to hold off. I would not recommend any major investment, even by the town, if the state would allow it. Until we know where that 3 million is going, because if that could do it, I think that's the better partnership. MDOT hears us, they work on the bridge, and we do some pedestrian improvements. We may not get all the way to Kelly Road. But we may get the downtown very well done, and so we gotta hear more on that. As far as little things, I guess I don't know. What is little things? I mean,
Little things would be like, I would think if we did a flash, we should call it a flashing light, if we don't pay attention, I don't know what it really is, but the RRIFB or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They can put on Westwood, that, I think that's a little thing, we did that on like the Oak Street intersection at the bottom of it, right near Marsh Island, and people. People come down that hill and they take advantage of gravity, they're in a hurry, they get gravity, and that's an example of one of the little things that popped up in our survey, the Orono stop survey. I think a bigger thing, like the 3.2 million, when I think about that, I think about building out the sidewalks.
yeah.
Like, you go to Colby, I dropped my son off at Colby for Dirigo, there's my little flex, right? My son Greg's gonna be the next mayor of Orono. But he was at Dirigo State and last week, and they built, it's such a good job of building out their infrastructure there. Well, they have raised crosswalks, and they've got curbs that kind of narrow the road, and kind of little choke points that are,
Make you slow down.
that make people slow down. And I think that's a bigger project in terms of, we're working on the sidewalks.
Yep.
Can we, will Maine DOT let us, it's their road ultimately, but will they let us, but it's a political decision, I mean, they're a political institution, just like the town council and the town of Warren are. So,
Well, I mean, and this, to make the political conversation, anything we do, if we do medium things to the bridge, because that's what this would be, pedestrian improvements. Or pedestrian related improvements to the bridge during that $3 million project. It cannot create problems for the project.
right,
Period. If this creates a situation where the public is going to want to debate or discuss or question. they're gonna say, the bridge is out, we
Yeah.
didn't wanna touch the bridge anyway, so
Yeah.
we're not gonna do it, so that's kind of one of those, that's a full disclosure.
But if we wanted to
Sharing the
catch-
reality of the project.
Right, if we wanted to catch people, slow them down on either side of the bridge where the pedestrians are, and I think that. I think that could have benefits to both sides, you know what I mean, I think the whole, like,
I do also wonder if. There's actually like 3 million might just be enough to replace the to be able to replace the guardrails so that.
Oh, those are,
that's
yeah,
6
things like
inches.
that are on, we're
Right.
trying to get numbers on that, I don't know what the percentage they'll tell us, but yeah, we
Well, it's
will.
always way more expensive than we think, but that would give those sidewalks an extra at least 6 inches. And that doesn't slow them down because they're not doing anything with those.
I would say, I think we're quite aware that we're not gonna get the improvements that the Route 2 corridor plan
Right.
envisions. For pedestrians from the
No.
bridge all the way to Kelly Road. So our general thoughts has been is the closer we can get from the bridge and including the bridge.
Yeah.
To Island Ave, Ledbetter's area, the better. Understanding full well, we might not get much past Westwood. Because the majority of the infrastructure is here.
Mhm.
And so when you start fixing the sidewalks here, which it's allowed to do, they're expensive, so. Yeah, and again, and we have made the decision, feedback to be taken. We wanna start at the bridge and work that way,
Yeah.
we do not wanna go the other way around.
That makes total sense, especially if those sidewalks are.
Yeah.
With the
Or
bridge and guardrails, is it possible to do like a half guardrail? You've got the bridge rail and the sidewalk, do a half rail between the sidewalk and the road?
Well, this is where we're at, if they'll allow us, the engineers will tell us if we can't. Some of it's gotta be engineered, anything, so can we, maybe.
Mhm.
You know, if it's funded, they will. But if it's not funded, they need a professional engineer to stamp that that design of that current bridge can accept what we're proposing to do. Without affecting the
The
structural
integrity.
integrity.
so is it safer to say that the 3.2 million? 3.2 million,
No, three even, 2.4 the state, 2.4 feds, 600 state,
okay, so
Three.
3 million, sorry,
yeah, sorry,
we got an extra couple.
couple hundred grand to help.
Couple extra speed bumps,
Yeah.
safe to think about that in terms of that's sidewalks, that's mobile, I mean, what's the term Eric uses of, come on, the whatever.
Multimodal.
Multimodal or active transportation.
Yep.
Yeah, that feels like active and then the 30 million, so an order of magnitude more, that may come 3 to 5 years down the road, that is. Car, more like track, is it?
It's everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that big project is really looking at all multimodal transportation through the corridor.
The reason the three won't go very far.
Yeah.
And it's probably, we can't think of it, is because since we are trying to do Route 2 and we have plans for a bigger Route 2. Whatever we're gonna do up here is gonna have to match up.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna meet the design, and so again, I would say publicly, this little project will be an opportunity to pilot. Some of the decisions that are coming out and discussions that started to come out during the Route 2 corridor.
There,
Because we cannot spend $3 million here and in 5 to 10 years, even 10 years later, come back and rip it all up. So that we can do the other project and spend the 30 million plus interest, so that's what we're trying to finagle on,
Right.
how to make it all line up. It will probably do some street paving, and that's the pedestrian project, cause they're gonna have to tear up streets to fix. Sidewalks, and when they do that, they're gonna replace what they tore out. So that's where we're starting to say, how big will it go? It can, signals impact pedestrians. So it might get into signals, where the crosswalks are placed, how we, intersections.
yes, redesign.
Roundabouts, all those different things are gonna be back in the conversation, because that affects how our pedestrians flow through the downtown.
And I'm gonna be a broken record here again. And say, is there any way we can leverage that 3 million to get like another 7 million and build a pedestrian bridge, cause that would solve so many.
So that's the new CDS request that we're working on, and we're working with the delegations to
It's
see.
gonna be 10 mil.
Yeah, and the question is that, so the town, they don't like the towns to get back-to-back fundings. We were not aware the town's being considered a funded entity. The general consensus is that we have been funded twice. Orono Public Library, for a library, it benefits the town, so it's a town project. And that that 3 million is also a town pedestrian project, even though it went to MDOT, the other one went to the foundation, they both benefit the town. It's not keeping us out, but we were in a good year not to submit an application this year. Plus, it's a highly competitive year, so we're looking out for next year or the year after.
But like. Alright, that's it.
Yeah,
I gotta keep beating the drum though, because everybody says it's impossible, but I don't think it's impossible.
No, we
And
don't.
I think this is like the one town in Maine that could use a pedestrian bridge all the time,
Mhm.
every day.
Oh,
Wow.
this can, I know, it's just such a crash of users, you know, you've got people coming from, I mean, I don't have to tell you this, it's a highway. And it's going through a very
Yeah.
pedestrian wishful town,
Yeah.
like we want pedestrians, we want students coming back and forth and.
We're not asking for pedestrian
Yeah.
bridge, we're asking for pedestrian bypass.
Yes,
Pedestrian
We need to bypass
that's right, the pedestrian.
bridge, for the bridge for pedestrian.
Like on the side.
Absolutely.
And they're very aware of our situation and they're very glad that we, you know, the fact that we've committed to the 30 million project and it's set aside. And showed them how that we're ready to fund it and we just need a project and very good news.
Yep.
So,
So when we get back, we're gonna move,
Yeah.
but in terms of getting back to the community, is it appropriate for us to say? Sometime in July, we think we're gonna hear more about the $3 million project.
Yep.
And that would be an opportunity for people to come in, get Molly come back and, you know, get Eric here for God's sakes, right? I mean, you know, I don't know what he's doing, but Eric,
On vacation.
I know. But I think we could, if we schedule that out, and have that conversation about, I think it would be good to have a very, I assume we're gonna try and have like an Orono stops type accomplishment out of that $3 million spending. That has a really good impact on pedestrians.
and then the survey, I mean, like I shared with you, we can weave this in, if, you know, we added one other, we can add this into that conversation as a specific.
Mhm.
We had a lot of people with a lot of areas and a lot of places, we haven't even started trying to figure out, is staff supposed to filter that one, come back with some recommendations, is that?
No, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think,
how do you guys, that was my.
We'll put that on the next committee, cause we have to discuss what we're gonna do with that.
Yeah.
Is the survey still open?
So next committee agenda, we'll have.
But
Yeah,
you're
our stop
processing
survey.
it
yeah,
still.
I definitely, we need, we don't, we have to have a discussion.
And no, that timing's much better for staff.
what's that? Come back next one.
Yeah,
And coming in July to talk about
Yeah.
that one, cause
Yeah.
much better.
Wait, would you just pass the budget or something? So.
No, it's all done now, we've even implemented. Just, now we're cruising.
Can't get your break. No, we literally the next day after we passed the budget, I met with the
I don't
auditor,
know.
like, I stock more, you know.
Exactly.
Well, that's perfect, I think, so we can communicate, we have an expectation in July, we're gonna start having conversations about the $3 million. Is there a term, we're gonna call that this? Are we calling that the $3 million CDS funding, or what are we gonna call it?
3 million of CDS, pedestrian funding,
3 million CDS
pedestrian.
pedestrian.
Yep, and it's Route 2, and
So-
well, you gotta make sure it says pedestrian, cause that was the point.
I do-
To improve pedestrian,
Help my understanding.
that is, no,
Yeah.
1000%, and that's
Okay.
federal governments.
Yeah, and I think the tricky part is since we have the big thing coming up, to decide what we can do with that 3 million, and that won't be ripped up, but on the other hand. I'm fine with putting temporary, like, I think that the speed bumps and stuff. I'm fine with putting them in for 5 years and then having them be ripped up again, but that's me. We'll have
Gotta get-
more of that discussion.
Who's harder,
You're too
Yeah.
hard, yeah.
so.
I know, and there's all sorts of regulation, but that's why I'm
Who's
not,
harder.
I'm not saying that's gonna happen, I'm saying that I'm okay with some infrastructure being put in and then taken out, if it's helping.
Yeah, an RFP is not a big deal,
What's that?
RFPs.
Yeah, cause we can take those down and then put them up again.
So
But it is that, it's, when those, even those lights aren't flashing, it's that sense of, well, you sit down at Marsh Island and you watch people.
You're trying.
Barreling down the hill and then, you know, they are, it just makes it an unpleasant experience. It's something you have to endure, rather than, and it's beautiful, you know, you see people taking, you know, the Instagram selfies on the bridge because of sunset and stuff, and then. So. Alright, so we'll let people know that we think we're gonna start having conversations in July about the $3 million TDS pedestrian funding. And that would be a phenomenal time to talk about how we can potentially bookend the bridge with traffic calming. Is that okay?
Cool.
All right,
I think that's
Okay.
a great plan. Alright,
let's have a festival.
yep, let's talk about the
You're
festival.
welcome to stay. Well,
I'll stick around for it.
Can I jump on?
Yeah, go for it.
Thanks. So we had our last workshop, we had to change it around, we did it on the 17th of July, June instead of the 19th of June. Wasn't particularly well attended, but we did put out to the community, and ask for, one of our top priorities was the council has approved $2,000 for a coordinator for the festival days. And we've gotten good support from staff, and this committee's been working on it. We have a workshop group that has been met with us a couple different times. So we put out a call to community members to talk about coordination of the event. And heard back from a couple people with some questions, some interest, and wanted to introduce Mina. Is that pronouncing it correctly again? And what's your last name?
Chandrasekhar is quite long. Yeah, Chandrasekhar.
Chandrasekhar. Well, thank you, Mina, for joining us. She responded, she and I had a great conversation the other day. I invited her because we're like a vulnerable place where we're, even that this, making a decision here with me in the room may be even more awkward than I can take. But at the same time, I wanted to introduce you. You're off to a good start. Wanted to introduce you to our group and talk about kind of what we're looking to do with a coordinator. I know you've expressed some interest in doing it, and can you tell us, you're a grad student who's in Orono, you live Orchard Trails, you're here for the summer, you're in town and you're looking for something to do, and this could be. I'll just say, I pitched it to Mina as kind of volunteer management. I think this project's gonna have a lot of different elements, Matt's gonna do Andrew's gonna do, the pancake breakfast will be Andrea, Nancy Marks is gonna do the race. Matt's gonna do probably the kids. Well, I don't know, kids carnival, or what are you gonna do?
It's just, I was thinking, just gotta find the stuff, but I was thinking of doing like a kind of like a lawn yard game,
Olympics, yeah.
Kind of like rodeo, but have it be right in front of the family dog possibly, where all kids can come play games, but also college students, they like to cornhole, stuff like that. I just gotta find enough of those games.
Yeah.
To make it worthwhile that people want to get out of their houses and come down, have a good time.
We're working on a dedication for the Bruce Farnsworth Way, which is something, Bruce Farnsworth, the Pat's Pizza family. Bruce passed away unfortunately recently, and council's named that little street where the old Margaritas is, there's no longer Margaritas, but that little street between Mill Street and the parking lot is now it's officially Bruce Farnsworth Way. So we're gonna do a dedication, put signage up there that we'll unveil, we'll do the formal dedication during this event. We're talking about fireworks and a concert, and we're talking about a road race that Nancy Marks is helping us organize. So an event coordinator would be someone who, a lot of different people have different ownership elements, and an event coordinator would be someone who will help us kind of manage all of the moving parts, keep things straight, attend our meetings. We'll have probably another 3 or 4 meetings, like workshops in these meetings to help us stay organized. And make sure we're liaisoning appropriately between the owners of the individual events. So like Andrea's gonna do.
Thank you.
I say this assertively, and please don't let me overstep what anybody's, but Andrea's kind of been the lead talking about the pancake breakfast. And if she owns that, she would need to coordinate as an event coordinator, you would just keep tabs on it and make sure she gets the support she needs. And then we roll it all in together, so it looks like it's a big coordinated event. There's a lot of little moving parts, but roll it all up in together into Orono Festival Days. So then we work on promoting it, putting together a schedule, putting a formal schedule together, signs and things like that, and then promote it. And then have the event, so.
Yeah. The event would have, how many days it's
One full, one really robust day,
Huh?
probably it's something the evening before. And
Was it New York City? You talked with me?
Yeah,
The Boy Scouts.
that might be that might be self-funding.
And then I had this conversation,
I didn't all the advertising.
why wouldn't, okay, but if you did a Orono Festival Day.
Mhm.
And did your advertising and said that independent groups are supported. Completely suggested to do things the night before, the Friday before, the Sunday after.
Mhm.
Let us know, we'll advertise it. But if you did Orono Festival Day as the poster, you could build it now. And still leave it wide open for anybody to do anything they want whenever they decide to do it on Friday night.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have more people come forward after you do it, so if you did the Orono Festival Day
Yeah,
and said. Public events to be notified on the Friday before and the Sunday after. You're still opening that up because we gotta get, I'm sorry, I'm coming in here as a time person, we're out of time.
Yep.
I've watched what this is going on, if this town's gonna help you advertise this, we need the info. July's over. And August is 1 month till the event happens, and I mean literally, July's over. Anything we gotta get up and get coordinated, it's gotta be, we gotta start knowing about it. Because if we wait a couple more meetings, it will be gone and we will have done nothing, not because we don't know what. Right now, staff's got no posters to build, no events to broadcast, no dates to share, nothing to put in the Observer. That was one of our things we shared out today. The Observer comes out September 4th, the event's on September 6th.
Mhm.
Is the Observer even viable for you? We need some answers, and that's why I was coming in today saying the quicker we can kind of nail that list and do a poster, this
Mhm.
town's willing to help. Format, help get it printed, do all of it, I mean, there's a budget. So we just like to get those rolling so that we don't lose that at one time. I was just that's why I said said to Mitch, I'm gonna go in, we make this Orono Festival Day.
I like it.
The day before, the day after, and that way we've got a really good focused effort.
Okay, and you're recommending that we advertise it as a day without the events?
A day with all the events for the day,
But we wouldn't advertise the actual events until closer to the event, is what you're saying?
as soon as you know what you got, I think the day's gonna be built as soon as you can.
Advertise the day and then leave it open so that other entities wanna do something Friday night or Sunday. We can add that in as we go.
It's like this QR code for events that will be posted and as determined for the day before and the day after. So then in walks any restaurant, any business that says, you know what, the Sunday after, I wanna do this. Great, tell us the info, put the link, put it on the website, anybody who puts the QR code for Sunday after. See everything they tell us as it comes in, so it's almost like QR code, Friday events to be determined,
Oh, okay.
Sunday to be determined, in the middle, Saturday.
So
We
you're
know
buying
this is-
yourself a little more time on the.
Yeah,
like, framing it
time to
up.
get those dates.
And if it
before they
doesn't happen, it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
Then you leave it open for people to join as as they start to hear about it, oh, it'd be great if we could, Jim Rose wants to sponsor a mountain bike thing on Sunday or something.
I mean, and we see that anyway.
So we advertise with a QR code and then we build the website as we go, essentially, we build the schedule of events as we go.
And then, what we have to do is, we have to lock in kind of the Saturday stuff in terms of what we think we wanna, what we are gonna try to commit to accomplish. It feels like we're really good on the race. We got a budget for that, we committed $1,000 to that, right, support that at our last meeting. Pancake breakfast feels really good, the dedication's gonna come together, but we need to have people downtown during the day doing stuff, and then like a firework kind of band thing in Webster Park, and that's not a bad day for first event, so.
Agreed.
Could I?
Yeah.
I would like to request a bounce house downtown, is that a problem?
I want a dunk tank.
I'd like, and then I'd have like a college hour, where college kids can get in there.
I would do it. Yeah.
Cause that's kind of like, cause that'll bring, that's what these kids don't do.
I guess
You're
what
right, you gotta
I guess
budget.
what I'm asking, Matt, is you're looking at us and saying, I'm requesting a bounce house.
Wait, no, I gotta get it, I'm just saying, do we have the funds?
$7,500, somebody's gotta run a budget.
Yeah.
Spent two, you spent three.
Yeah.
That's 75, two,
Whatever it
is. Thousand
We have to
spent.
start, and we can add to it as we go. The different ideas, as I was looking through the past. That's flyers, posters, the different stuff that they did during each festival. And I just kind of tried to build at least the start of a schedule or ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
And I like it.
And what I was monkeying around with on the spreadsheet that I shared was kind of putting these in a spreadsheet so they can be organized and owned. But yeah, I think these are, a lot of these are really,
But we can, I figured we could be a good start, so we could at least add in or take away, work on timing.
We wanna try and lock in the day now, so that we can kind of, you know, so we constrain ourselves in a way that's productive.
Yeah.
So for Friday. Is it, how many blocks we have? We have a early morning, mid-morning, early afternoon, late afternoon, and then evening, 5 blocks, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So early AM, that's a pancake breakfast.
Yeah.
Anything else that this committee is
This is
gonna,
the Saturday,
Saturday,
Are you, so the race is late AM?
late AM.
Oh, yeah.
And Misha, we're gonna, Mina, we're gonna give you a chance to kind of introduce yourself to us in a minute too, so I'm sorry. I got excited. It's hard to follow. So we got early AM, late AM,
Pie in the sky race.
yep, and that's pie in the sky, is like the cornerstone
Yep.
of that block. Now, Jeff Wingard wants to go fishing and wants to run it in, you know, behind. Okay. Pie in the sky, and then early afternoon. Late afternoon. And then evening. So 5 blocks, so stuff has to fit in those 5, one of those 5 blocks to be part of. So. Early AM, we do pancake breakfast, and that's what we're gonna do, that's a good start. Late AM, pie in the sky, feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Early PM, do you wanna do the kids carnival thing? We could have your bounce house and.
Yeah, so that would be, yeah, I like this around 1 to 4.
1 to 4?
Cornhole tournament, yard games, balance house, something like that.
Or do a dunk tank, I'll get the dunk.
The dunk tank would be good.
Dunk tank counselors.
Yeah.
I wanna do this, I'm gonna get a UNH sweatshirt or a UNH like hockey jersey, and then I'm gonna get like. I'm gonna get asked students to sign my petition, raise the drinking age norm of 25. So just like, I wanna be like, you know, like troll them, I think.
I could be the dark counselor.
Yeah, exactly, like, you know, the evil counselor.
What? All the time.
Take away from it. Go, you go Wildcats.
Yeah.
I have a dark face and an estimate. I just sent Eric a message about maybe a community bike ride.
Yeah.
Bike ride, so we'll see if I would need to help him out with that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I can't do that myself,
Yeah.
but
That'd
like,
be awesome.
maybe
Someday to close it
get
out,
race
because we've
bikes,
got the
they're-
walking trails and.
yeah, that'd be cool.
So early afternoon. We do the kids carnival / yard
Yeah, 1
games,
to 4.
those are nice kind of
Family
family.
bounce house and, yeah,
And sometime during that early afternoon, I'd like to do, I think it makes sense to do the Carolyn Farnsworth, the
Yeah.
dedication.
Yeah.
So that would be,
We wanna do that like
I think
more
that-
between the pancake breakfast and the race, just so that it's like a start of the day and go, or
I don't know, I'm open to whatever, I mean, if that's a better time.
doesn't.
I would do it either right before the event, so people come down and then they're gonna do the events, or right in the middle of the event, so people are there, they do it. So it's up to
Between
you.
the,
I
yeah,
would do it, I personally think we'll have the most people, probably at like 3, but.
okay,
Although we might miss out on the pancake and race.
Yeah, that seems kind of like an
I think they'll
afterthought.
do that, they usually.
They'll be over here
Right.
for the
I know.
pancake and the race,
And
and
then,
then,
yeah, I think middle, like you said, Matt, that's middle afternoon, because people who come to the breakfast and the race, they also tend to go to the
Yes.
other events too.
alright, so early afternoon would be 1 to 3 or 1 to 4.
1 to 4.
And that would be kids carnival. Yard games, yard Olympics,
Yeah.
Orono Olympics, yard Olympics, and then. The Farnsworth, somewhere in that window, the Farnsworth dedication. Okay. Then late afternoon. Webster Park stuff, like concert type stuff over there,
Yeah.
popcorn, kind of,
I was just saying that might be a nice location to be shaded, but it's by the river, could do some. Music,
so 4 to 7 in.
That like.
So I'm just gonna say this. you're gonna have fireworks,
Mhm.
fireworks, there's only two
Yeah.
places you can shoot them off from. Webster Park and Tyler Technology. And the only place that you really see them from is from downtown. And if from 4 to 7, you're gonna put people in Webster Park. And that's where they're all gonna be, they're in the wrong place to see the fireworks.
So it should be, if you're in Webster Park, you don't think you can see the fireworks going on?
You can see them, but the one thing that I don't know about is depending upon where they put them and we own Webster Park, so.
What if we?
We could shoot them off from there, but if they're there, you really can't have people there
Right.
and around that.
So I know it's not that big, but the park with the rock, is that big enough that we could do stuff there? Cause it's right
Summer
across
Street
the,
Park.
You're talking about shooting off the.
yeah, at Summer Street Park.
The two places when we've talked to them in the past are Webster Park, because it's open.
No, I'm saying, what if we did the popcorn or whatever at the Summer Street Park? And
There's
then.
not enough that's down there for you.
Yes.
You're kind
What
of.
if it's a floating firework?
Barge.
I don't,
Put it on like.
I don't do
cell
that,
phone.
I honestly
You could find
can't tell you. The people that we've worked with, these are the two places they've shot them off, I mean. You'd have to ask people that do the fireworks, whether that's.
How about I reach out to the couple of people that I know and see what they have available for us and try and coordinate just some information about, yeah.
Yeah.
And we can just decide on the where of the afternoon activities.
Yeah.
In the next meeting or something.
Yeah, if you wanna get to, if you feel comfortable doing that, I did Mitch shared the last it was 3,000, which was less than I thought it was gonna be.
Well, and I will preface that by saying those were done in the winter,
Yeah,
and so they were. Basically clearing out everything they had from the summer that was left over, so I don't know if we got a deal about when we did them, because there aren't a lot of fireworks.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that won't be that amount. I
so
know
you have, you wanna chase down firework vendor, see what you can find out?
Yeah.
You're gonna,
And that would be, it's dark at like, sun goes down at 7:06 and then it's dark at like. 7:30, I think, in terms of like nautical, I looked it up and there's a. Mitch had when it was, and then I shared I looked up like when's the best time for fireworks, and there's like a nautical dust thing, it's about 8, I think it's 8 o'clock that night. But I put it on the spreadsheet, so. And that would be. Well. I don't think we resolved it though, so we're gonna do, we got the early afternoon, we have an idea, we're gonna be on Mill Street, Family Dog, that parking lot. For that kind of stuff. If the Family Dog, we obviously check with the folks over there.
and if
It's our parking lot,
Yeah.
we
But
have the rights to the park.
but not the grass.
Oh, not their section, absolutely not.
And I think if we can be done. With that section by 4, they can open it up, because I know the businesses will wanna have.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the detour for the Art Fest works great.
Yeah.
And I was there and the businesses were pleased.
Okay.
We need to do a double check, I have not, and has not,
Yeah.
to make sure there was no hiccups, but I would lean to, why don't we let the town find out there was no
That's
issue
fine.
with the art? Why don't you pick a time and shut down Mill Street?
Yeah.
Well before when you start,
12.
go a little bit afterwards,
Mhm.
let the businesses do whatever they want out front and say, hey, do whatever you want, just tell us what you're doing.
Mhm.
And then if the family, and then if Taquerita wants to put out a.
Yeah.
Whatever. Nacho
What do
bucket,
you
whatever
think
they do.
So
Of that,
I'm trying really hard to just kind of allow you to go, but I'm gonna make a suggestion. You're moving people all over town. Which is difficult. To get, you have them here and then you want them to go over here, you're gonna lose people. If you focus and have most of this in one spot, you're going to get a greater reward and people are going to stay. The minute you move them, that's an opportunity for them to decide not to participate.
And it makes you condensed, which makes you look goofy,
Yes. So,
which makes it look exciting rather than tons of room and spread out, we're more comfortable. People like to get cramped, so, and not in a bad way, but in a good way, to get to
Right.
see it all right there. mean, you're not asking for long walks either, but every little
But
walk
every time you
and
move,
delay.
it's an opportunity for somebody to say, I don't want to go there. Because I park my car, some people don't wanna walk,
Yeah,
right?
it's not gonna stay in town from, they're not gonna finish their pancake at. 8:59 or 9 o'clock, 9:30, and then they're not gonna hang around until.
So you'd be surprised,
Yeah.
they could, but the answer is, if you have it close, they're more likely to stay around to continue to the next thing. Any chance that you have to move them, they have an opportunity to decide to stop participating.
The other weird option, I think we should keep it downtown, or just. Is that we have this building over here and this big fight. Just throwing that out, alright, stop.
Yeah, stop that one. That's too hard to coordinate this year.
Right.
I like that the lights are on now.
Yeah,
Oh, there's more happening. We'll talk.
alright,
See you July 14th.
But I will just leave you with that as you think through it,
Yeah.
because every time you move it, it is also a different venue that you have to have services for.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So every time you go, you're now creating another place that you have to have, maybe tables, maybe porta potties, maybe. And every time you do that, there's one more thing that's added to that stuff you have to do.
Well, could the concert be over by the
Yeah.
library?
I was thinking maybe like
Is that a better?
a natural time to split it would be when you start up a concert. I feel like those who are gonna stay with us through the run will probably stay through the afternoon in the bounce house. But I think like those who wanna come out for the evening will say, oh, I'm just gonna come out for the evening, I'll go to this place. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The problem with the venue behind the library is that it doesn't feel like
Open.
it's, so, yeah, you're just kind of back there and not hidden, but, you know, I think people have a lot of nostalgia for the Webster Park stuff. I mean, this all predates my time in Orono, so I've heard from people that thought that it used to be a nice draw in the park, so I don't know what I love the green, is a common, I think, whatever, the behind the library, I think it's a great spot, but
I love the visibility of Webster.
Yeah.
Like people might not know about it, they'll go, something's going on.
yeah,
over
there's
there."
something in, there's something we're celebrating, so.
So the other thing I will say about Webster Park, it's not ADA accessible. You gotta get down a huge hill to get down to the bottom of
And
it.
if we have that gate opened over on the,
It's,
and so they can come down the, but it's.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's dirt and grass. So I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not trying to get right on your parade, I'm trying to give you all these pieces of the puzzle.
Parade.
Yeah.
That's how we get people.
Look at that, the meeting's already over. No.
Alright, let's get, we could,
I just,
yeah,
consolidation of space is usually your best place when you're trying to start out. Spreading makes it harder
Yeah.
on your resources.
alright, I'm gonna,
I'd like to be in the park at some point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Okay. And is there anything we do between 4 and, I mean, if we're doing that late afternoon, the evening is the fireworks, right?
Yeah.
And then if there's something, if the pubs or whatever wanna do something, they kind of on their own, we,
Yeah, we just tell them.
yeah,
We'll
4.5
advertise
hours.
for it.
Yeah.
We'll advertise for it, they gotta tell us what to do.
Yeah, and invite them to do something, encourage, but then we just hands off in terms of someone wants to do a peer event or anything like that. Okay,
That was the most of it.
yeah, it's kind of the day, right?
Yep. But I think the hard part would be now you have to figure out who's gonna play the. If who's gonna teach you the game.
We're gonna find. We have to find a lead for the evening, for the after, I mean, if you'll be the carnival person.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna ask the Church of the Universal Fellowship to help me. with
Yeah.
A bunch of people down there, or the eaters and sneakers.
Yeah, if you'll take that piece on, if you're gonna do the breakfast. Nancy's doing the front run, I can try and take the point on the 4 to 7 stuff up to the fireworks, if that makes sense. And then, kind of bring them all together. And then, but you're gonna first get back to us on fireworks stuff, and
Yeah,
then,
check with Billy and with Greg and see
will you copy me on those things, so then ultimately I feel like I'll take that over as part of the evening thing?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, work on, both of us can work on it, but. In terms of like having an owner, I feel comfortable that you're like on the pancake stuff, and I don't have to worry about maple syrup or, store-bought syrup or whatever. Apparently it's a difference, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the location, so the morning when we said Webster Park, was it?
The pancake breakfast is gonna be
Right
right
out
here
here,
at the
yeah.
fire station.
Okay.
And then the race is right up back at the school, it'll start at the school.
Okay.
And it's gonna-
And then we said the late afternoon in Webster Park, or? No,
Well, we have, I think
Have
we
you
We're gonna
decided
work on that, we're
Have
just a
decided,
little
okay.
bit of,
decided. on.
Yeah. we're getting some things to think
The
about.
afternoon and day part will be over here by
okay,
Street.
so yeah, it sounds like the only thing that we don't have a lot of time is the location of the evening.
Yeah,
Dan is in charge of getting the really big scissors and the really big ribbon to cut for the Farnsworth Way.
oh, I think we have like a great big, pull it out, 1, 2,
I know
3.
you're gonna open chainsaw.
Maybe Pat's will cook the world's largest pizza for that day, we'll put it in the parking lot.
There's, Carol,
And you could use a pizza cutter to cut the ring.
Yeah.
Carol was excited, she's gonna have pizza slices out of the street.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, the one note she had from Cody and I met with her this morning, thank you for that connection. Her one thought was, the tents that we had during the Arts Fest. Were kind of all along the side, in the like the parking spaces, so that their backs were facing the
Yep.
doors. And she thought if the tents
We're in the middle.
were in the middle, like back to back.
Oh.
So you'd walk down one side and you go, oh, I can go in Pat's, and here's the bench, here's a,
Good idea.
like, that's just something to think about in
Yeah.
terms of, I don't know if it's wide enough to be back to back like that, but. Okay. Mina, do you wanna introduce yourself a little bit more, what drew you to respond to,
Yeah.
yeah,
So hi everyone, Amina, thanks for including me in the meeting today. And no hard feelings. If you don't choose me, it's fine. I'll volunteer, I'll help out. And so, yeah, I moved to Orchard Trails. I'm living with like local grad students, and I'm getting to know my advisor for marine sciences, so I'm trying to get to marine science program. To start in the fall, so until then, I'm just taking an online class, I have a little bit of time, I thought I'd help out. I come from a village myself, village of Plainsboro, New Jersey. So I think just municipal, small town feel, really love it, enjoy it. And wanted to get more involved so I can understand how to run things like this myself. In terms of like how you guys need me to help, I just take your guidance, feel free to reach out to me, let me know what you do or don't need from me, text me, email me, and I can take your lead. I think that's the best way to go about it, and then I'm here to kind of support and do whatever you guys need.
it's cool. You're gonna be in town all summer, is the plan?
Yeah.
How do you feel about, I know we've got Cody for the web things, but how do you feel about like the marketing and the fundraising?
So social, I could probably get on board with that, the technology and stuff. I could figure out some design elements or find someone who can. QR codes might need a little help with,
That's easy.
Those are easy.
Generate those, yeah.
Not intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially if you're using like Canva or something to say, give me a QR.
Yeah, right?
And they're like, what
It's
do
just
you want?
intimidating. They're like,
And then it's done.
How do you, so you're starting at UMaine in the fall, this will be your first semester, it's graduate students have semesters, right,
Yes.
so, yeah.
And I'm taking it easy, I'm taking just a couple classes. I'm moving from Orchard Trails into, cause I've been working for a little while, so I'm gonna move into a proper apartment.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of this work is kind of just keeping us working, like, to the extent that we have a list, we hand it off to our event coordinator.
Right.
Keep it all organized and send reminders, and then different people have different ownership elements, but just to kind of keep it
Yeah.
all.
Like I would probably ask you to look at like, how much bouncy houses on our names to get them.
Yeah, I think that's how I think it will go, it's like if you have questions or need me to do something, you text me. Yeah, and I'll do my best hack at it, and if it's not good enough, then you'd probably tell Dan.
And then you'll be the lead, so like you would be the lead on that, or if we got the dunk tank, so that they would be calling you and being like, well, we'll have it at this time, and you're like, yes, you gotta be here. So we drop it off.
Well, it'll be similar, Michael, like I wouldn't see the event coordinator having all the details about
Everything.
like, where we getting the paper plates for pancakes.
Yes.
That's gonna be Andrea,
Yeah.
and
And then I would be the one who would go to the community, like all of the games. And then I'll go out and try and get all the people to volunteer for it.
Yeah, and I personally, like, if any given event hasn't, like, you only have two hands, right? So if any, like, I'll be at all the events, I would.
Yes.
So I think any event needs another hand for a particular, like, I need to man a table, like I can do.
Like I'm gonna have to have somebody manning the balance house and then each game. And I can rotate them in, especially if I get the church and all.
And-
What it be the sneakers.
Kind of like a giant scare.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get all these projects under him, Andrea leads one, how many tables she did, what time do they slot in? Running all those slots all the way down to the bottom is what you're gonna wanna do. Rather than running the event, just make sure they show, if they don't show, have a list of, probably should give her a list of 10 volunteers that are undesignated.
Yeah.
So that when a no-show comes, you can, hey, we need you here.
So I would go one step further. If they're pods, they're
So
truly
what?
pods, as we talked
Pods.
about from the beginning. The pod is, Andrea is the pancake person that takes care of it. She manages that Andrea's all set to go and whatever. Cause the way that works the best is, that's the case, if something happens to Andrea, and this all falls apart, we have a race, we have this, we have this, we have this, it's like the pancake breakfast never was there.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So organizing each. You're taking each one of these pods and making sure that they all go together, and if they need help resourcing closing the road, or that you become the contact person for that. Not necessarily meddling in the pod unless they ask you for a little bit of help.
Exactly.
And the township market,
Yeah, the
Well-
town will market, so that's not,
our advantage.
So marketing number one, I think another big thing that we can move it to volunteers, so on what each pod needs a volunteer to do and who that volunteer would be, and I can start coordinating that now, I think that's something that needs to be done earlier. And then if they're not there, what pool do we have? So I can keep them involved.
So we'll have a workshop on July 8th at 5:30 in the spirit right here. And I think people can start to respond positively to that calendar invite. So we'll get kind of we'll get that band back together, and that'll be sort of we got a good cohort of volunteers. Matt knows all the volunteers in town, he's kind of like
I know some.
what's up? We have a lot of volunteers in town, and what's exciting about what we're trying to do, frankly, is create, the town and the council are trying to create those opportunities where people can come together and celebrate the town. It's not, it's not the council's event, it's Orono's event, and all the different people who have ideas and energy. We just wanna make it easier, because there's volunteer fatigue, I think, a little bit, and we wanna make it really easy to kind of come in and contribute to something. And
Yeah,
and it creates a virtuous cycle of, hey, that was easy, and we built into something that worked, so now I'm gonna try something maybe that's a little bit harder. Well, let's give it a shot, so.
yeah, and I think that would be like, I would just try to be a friendly face for
Yeah,
volunteers. And if they could come here like this also, I think it just makes makes it easier to understand what's happening day of, but
yeah,
only if they have the time.
I like, and I do think too, we need to think about everything that we do in terms of a lens of how do we invite, encourage, celebrate students to participate too. And what is it that, what's I guess I would challenge all the pod administrators or the PAs or whatever they're gonna call them. I like naming stuff, so sorry, but it's a lot.
He also likes creating work for staff so that we can get something to name.
David.
Teasing away, teasing away.
I know.
Yeah.
You can do no wrong as far as.
Hey, wait, I got it right now, I'll get some.
you can set the meeting with them right now to tell
I don't know who's the
Sorry,
coordinator. I guess like you probably know who. Actually, we do know who. I need to talk to the Greek coordinator, like, because that might be the other option, is have the Greek people help you run the stuff down there, and then we'll get the
And maybe that would be one piece that all the pod people probably ought to coordinate, definitely with the event with Mina, I'm assuming he feels like. Feeling pretty good about things, but whatever you're doing with the university or the town specific, you know, maybe coordinate, just so she's in the loop. You don't wanna be talking to student life about your event without, and I'm talking.
Yeah, I do, I mean, the Wilson
Yeah.
Center, we got Greek Life Wilson Center, the Church Universal Fellowship. And these are the same, there's, I think, both on Sunday.
Yeah, we got enrollment management wants to be a part of it.
So those are all people we can tap into for all the events.
Yeah, athletics wants to be a part of it.
Yeah, athletics. would be-
Just to-
Athletics for after, sorry.
I was just gonna say, to help out with the university so that there aren't 15 volunteers all talking to the university, because we all know them. Town's got relationships, why don't
Yeah, I'll have you guys.
tell us who it is you need, what it is you need.
So-
Is-
So,
we can say this is who or this is who and let you still do it, but we've got, we're
Yeah.
running the list.
Right.
Of who's contacted with the university, when, about why,
so,
that way we kinda got.
Part of the thing I would say is,
Yeah.
the university's been part of this.
yes,
They have it.
They're at the table,
Yeah.
so maybe that's how you integrate that
Yeah, yeah.
versus.
Lori Sadelko will be here at our
Yeah.
meeting on the.
And, yeah, so I would suggest that that's how you would use the university folks that are already at the
Yeah.
table.
and part of this is to get university people here, and I think the best way to start all enrolling is if I can get them to volunteer, I'll be there.
I think maybe we make a list of the types of volunteers that we want for the next meeting, then we run that by whoever, like you said, the university is coming to the next meeting.
Yeah, Lori Sadelko. We had a meeting, you know. Easy to get people together for meetings, harder to do the follow-up, right, and so we had a conversation at Orono Brewing Company. A couple months ago, we had athletics was there, admissions was there, student life was there, non-resident. Off-campus housing was there, so it was a good conversation and people wanna. You know, today is first year orientation, so I'm going from here, I'm gonna have a black bear and the family in the fall, and. We could have been there today talking about the event, but we just, you know, obviously weren't ready to invite people to. Not have pancakes with us, I guess I could have gone up there and said that, but. So,
Can I just put out there, because you've just said it? Yes. Think about what you have discussed and planned, and of those things. How many of them are attractive to students
Yeah.
coming? So involving students by making them participate.
Yeah.
As volunteers is not
As cool, no,
and as welcoming as
Yeah.
part of the community, it's,
Yeah.
we're asking for you to do something
That's
for
right.
us, so. Think about what you have planned,
Mhm.
and are there things there, and that may be where you're bringing the university in when Lori comes as. Maybe they're doing something that is also attractive to college students,
Mhm.
because. In the things that have been said here. The question I would have is, if I'm a college student, which one of these do I wanna participate in?
Yeah.
It's great for families, it sounds great for Orono, it sounds great for that community piece. What are the pieces that would also attract college students that is not what you maybe the pub's doing now?
yeah,
I have a question, I should find out, but does the university may have anything like bear bucks or like. Dining hall rewards or anything like that,
they do, yeah.
so maybe that's something like if you student.
Yeah.
Do this thing, but.
What I could do too is, our meetings are online, the workshops been online too. The workshops have.
No, workshops are not.
But. We've got notes and things from our prior meetings that I could email you as like a start, so like I said, you know, July 8th will be our workshop meeting, so we're gonna have to prep an agenda for that. And we're gonna have to have like a formal. These pod times, these times that we're gonna do, so I'll have to have that together for people. And we're gonna have done something for Linda Doherty really wants to get, you know, into business, we're gonna have an ask for what we're gonna ask businesses to do. We need to have her prepared for that for July 8th, 'cause she'll go do it. So we've gotta think about, you know, maybe we need to have another. Pre-meeting or something before July 8th or.
Well, I was wondering if we should start looking at. Like, if we're gonna do the 8th and the 15th and the 22nd. Just to make sure that we get everything organized so that August is put the
promoting.
plan in
Yeah.
motion and.
I think that could, I mean, I don't wanna. Pass, Okay. how do we do them so we're not making like a formal committee meeting and not taking up staff time to agendarize it and post it,
There's three of you,
so it's pretty
gotta
good.
do, if there's three of you, we gotta post it.
Mhm.
It doesn't necessarily have to be videoed and everything, but it needs to be posted.
Well, we just call them workshops then, so we,
Workshops.
you wanna just schedule them out now for? Can we,
I think we should.
are we good with, you feel like we're heading in the right direction with the people that are here?
I do, but I like. What I think is fun may not be what other people think is fun, so I just wanna circle around.
I'm talking about people that are
Yeah,
here.
absolutely, let's do it.
So, Mia, do you wanna join this little
Yeah.
American band of?
Yeah.
So I'll connect you with Clint and his team about the stipend piece. And we can talk about that and then, make that happen, so feels like we're, sorry, the nod for me too, right, so welcome to the team. And whatever you want.
Aaron,
Yeah, nice. So we have, let's look at our calendars then, I know we gotta get out.
Do we have to register runners for,
I need to go.
do we have to register runners for their race that year?
Nancy's doing it, yeah.
She's got like.
What time is the 8th?
and Pie in the Sky, this is a fundraiser for the school arts thing, right? Do you think it's the same?
It's not, it's the same race, but
Okay.
it's not necessarily funding the same thing.
Okay.
It's the exact same principle,
Okay,
we're just popping it in here because it hasn't been happening.
I got,
yes, good, I love it.
I got 5:30 on the 8th, and that's already been, that's been scheduled, and the room is available, and the invites have been sent. We could do same time on the 15th and 22nd, if the room's available.
I can't do the 5th, well, you guys can do it, but I won't be.
You got that whole week.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good to keep it consistent if we can.
15th is a no in here, but you.
Matt's is not gonna be here, we can do it, the library's open until 7.
I mean, you could, there's board of assessment review in here on the 15th, so in here, this, you
Okay.
could do it in the
Conference room,
conference room.
you'll do that? And then, we don't have, Matt's not gonna be here, we don't have to notice it as a, well, I don't, we call it another workshop, but,
I won't be.
yeah, and then 22nd.
It looks like the 22nd, is the NISA in the conference room
No,
in here?
that'd be, no, sorry, it'd be in the
Yeah, so, okay,
managers,
it's
small conference.
okay, we can move that, but that, yes, so we could do the 22nd in here.
Okay, so 5:30 each time.
I just think that now that we've got the times nailed down, I think organizing the what and the who's needed is.
Those are 5:30s.
I think so, are people okay with that?
We'll get more volunteers too.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, yeah, you'll be, and you'd have your own little sub breakfast meeting or whatever, as you need to, whenever, And what I'll do is,
I got my email address.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay,
yeah,
in terms of the volunteers, is there like a distribution list that we use to contact them or?
yeah, I'll give you a copy of the, what I'll do is I'll shoot you,
Facebook groups? Yeah,
we don't have a Facebook group,
okay.
but what I'll do is, as a reminder for the workshop, I'll add you to the distribution list and introduce you to people. And then, add you to the list, and then you could, reply all as you need to, or whatever, it's just a Google, we're all Google for now.
Okay.
And then, I need your cell phone number again, I don't know why it's
I
not,
will text you, 732, New Jersey, 552.
did you text me today?
I can just put it up on top here.
Or, yeah, just text me with, and then. Yeah.
So, I think first of mine, I could probably put together like a poster of some sort.
Shit. I put you down on my phone as Carol Farnsworth, the one that owns Guy's Pizza. So it'd be like, hey, yeah, pepperoni would be good, so sorry. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to curse there.
Okay.
Alright, I'll fix that.
It's immortalized forever.
So we can find you that, I was like, I gotta text her, make sure she's coming, and then,
Cause you emailed me, I said,
Yeah.
okay.
Flyers that
Um,
posters that were done. Remember, at the first meeting, we were given a packet
Yeah,
with the
I
old
put it down as
flyers.
Carol Farnsworth, but good news is I didn't
Do we
read
have any
that.
more of those?
Hobby night, I guess we could.
Perfect.
It's fine, I can.
You didn't
get
get
my
my text?
my-
I didn't text her by accident, I didn't, so that's good. Okay, anything else for today?
Did you say there were posters already?
That was good.
Oh, we should look at the conference room on the way out.
They're on the wall, the originals are on the wall,
Oh,
I'll show you
okay,
around.
yeah. And then it's just, if I could contact each of the event runners, for like what types of volunteers you would want, like. You know, somebody to run this table, somebody to run the balance house, somebody like, you know, to get runners registered, you know.
I'll connect us all by email by tomorrow, I'll go back up to, location stuff right now, but I'll connect us all by email in the morning. And then I'll introduce you to the workshop list, that you joined our merit band of merit planners. Yeah.
I'll be around.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, as you can, if you see.
yeah, love to.
We can make it,
I need to know too, how do we buy supplies?
a lot of people.
Well, Jacob,
I'm gonna compare Amazon to Sam.
So do a list,
Big
tell us what you need
list.
with it, or ask for reimbursements, so you keep track, but when you do a reimbursement, give us a reimbursement.
we got three votes here, right, so just run it out and we'll figure it away then.
Whole project's gonna be under 7,500, so I don't have to worry about you the spending limit, so
No,
just go ahead.
Yeah. if we're doing-
You can approve it.
Like, yeah,
How many, Brian said they could typically
Whole
have
thing,
like
yeah,
150 people, 150 to 200, should I plan that many, not that many?
for the breakfast,
Yeah,
heck yeah.
Sounds about right, weather's good.
When's the last time you did a pancake
The
breakfast?
light.
Yeah, find out.
Is there an event, like for registered, like attend Facebook events where people have clicked attending?
Well, I can probably look how to do that, yeah. And the town has Cody, we'll introduce you to Cody. Who's
Sounds like sense.
the gentleman who started the thing here, just. When we get to that point, when we're ready to start setting up Facebook events, stuff like that.
and if we have donors, do we have them write a check to the town of Orono and memo it to the festival day, how do we do that?
If you have donors,
Mhm.
make checks payable to town owner,
Okay.
or no, that's, not on line, if they really wanna make it work.
But
Yeah, we gotta think how to get the kids to they like yard games. They play them all the time at the pubs. They like bouncy houses. That's how we get it, so they know that they're welcome every time, yeah.
yeah, no, we'll have to figure out that, Lori and the team, each got to vote it. And the increased stuff,
They wanna get out of their houses to do something that they can't do in their apartments or wherever.
That's what she says, yeah.
Or some sort of sports or concert ticket, if you just purchase, there's like a ability to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome,
Thank you.
anything else for us, thank you for all the advice and comments and things. Heard a lot of it,
Wanna make it work,
yeah,
figure it out,
Here's the
where we
question.
see
it's
it.
our first year, it's no, Ideally, it's, first year you do it, you do a lot of legwork, second and third year you make it work, and fourth and fifth year you turn it over to somebody else to do it. That'd be the ideal.
Perfect.
Okay,